Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And today we're going to be talking about why do you want your ex back? A lot of reasons you might want your ex back. And we're going to talk about some of those today because it's something you have to think about, right? If you're going through a difficult time and you're missing your partner, right? And you are obsessively thinking about how to repair it, you should think about, well, why do I want to do this, right? What are my reasons for this?
Exactly. And before we get into it, I did want to say that Craig and I are available for coaching sessions. So if you are curious about having a one-on-one session with us, please head to our website and you can book from there.
That's right.
Super simple.
All right, so the first big reason is primal panic.
And this is something that we talk about in some of our videos if you are paying attention.
Yes, and if you didn't hear us say this, you're in a coma. Because I've been saying this since I launched the channel because it's so true. When we are in a breakup, our relationship is essentially ended, or at that time it's ended. And we are absolutely terrified that we are now going to be alone. And human beings are biologically hardwired to be in close connections with other people. Our tribe, our group, whatever you want to call it, our relationships, however you say it. When you get cast out of that group, rejected, broken up with, whatever, it feels like you're being sent off into the wilderness to survive by yourself. And that is terrifying because it would be very, very difficult to survive by yourself. And so our body has an alarm system. When you get too far away from somebody you love, is an alarm going off inside of us. And you can see it in small children. They toddle away from their parents, they go have a good time and play. Then after a little bit, they gotta come back. They gotta come back to their parents because of the separation anxiety. It's biologically wired in us. Stay close to your loved ones.
Yeah, we're social creatures. And, there's that image of the little kid lost in the grocery store looking for mom. I'm sure all of us at some point have had our names called over the intercom.
Yeah.
Their parents trying to find us or us trying to find our parents.
Yeah.
So it's a very real thing, and it happens in close romantic relationships when we are attached. And this is another big reason why you want your ex back is attachment. And we talk about attachment maybe in every single one of our videos. That's a bold claim, but I really do think it's true because of how important it is. And when we think about attachment, this also happens on a physiological and very visceral level.
Yeah.
Our bodies, our minds, we become accustomed to someone else, to their DNA, to their pheromones, to the sound of their voice.
Yeah.
If you think about attachment, it starts in vitro. So when you are in your mother's womb is when you begin attaching to your mother. And why is this important in relation to relationships? Is because all of those senses that you have as a child, being able to hear at a certain point once your ears have been developed, hear your mother's voice, being able to, feel and sense what's going on in her body, we have that on a different level with our romantic partner as adults. So attachment goes really, really deep. It, really touches what it means to be human.
Yeah.
So us being attached to someone else causes us to pine after them after a breakup.
Yeah, and Margaret really talked a lot about this too, Victoria and I, over the years. Outside of the videos, we would always talk about attachment and how it happened in utero. And there are some very interesting things that she would say would happen in utero if there was some kind of break and some kind of trauma to the baby. And believe it or not, there are things that can happen in utero or even at birth that can cause someone trauma. And that attachment wound can really have a deep effect on somebody.
Oh yeah. And likewise in relationships, a breakup is an attachment wound. And so that can have a really huge impact on how you see it, on how you respond. For those of you who have more anxious attachment styles, something that we talk about a lot, you may have also an abandonment wound. And this can be something that really affects you after the breakup. You feel abandoned by your partner. And so you return back to almost this childlike state to want to repair it, to try to find your mom or your dad, and you try to find them in your partner. You want to repair that connection. And just like we have tribes and social groups that help us to feel safe, we also have very important key attachment figures in our life. So the circle grows a little bit smaller, and we have those people who are vital to us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, and my dad and my mom split up when I was about 1.5 years old. And I'm sure that him leaving had a big impact on why I had so much separation anxiety when I was that small. I mean, and then having to go to his house every other weekend or whatever it was very traumatizing. And, you know, you don't realize it as an adult that something that happened to you when you were that little has such an impact on you for the rest of your life. But my dad was very involved with me, and he was a great dad. And so to not have him around as, you know, an 18-month or 18-month baby, you know, 1.5 years old, you lose a major bond like that. It's devastating.
Oh, yeah.
And if you have kids, you know what I'm talking about, right? I have 2 kids. And so you know what they're like at that age. They're always wanting to be with you, always want to be by your side. They always want to be playing with you or held by you or fed by you. And to lose that impacts you forever.
And you see how kids respond when a parent leaves. You know, we call this protest behaviors. They flail, they kick, they scream. They want their parent back. They want that feeling of safety back. And in a breakup, a lot of us as adults do this. You know, we've shared some of our really embarrassing experiences after a breakup where we've adult protested. Where we've said, no, I can't do this. I can't handle this feeling of separation. And so we beg, we cry, we pout, you know, everything that we can possibly do to get our ex back. The difference is, you know, it's an adult relationship. You know, they don't have to love you unconditionally and tolerate anything you do. You know, adult relationships are based on consent. And, you know, you also have a responsibility to treat someone else like an adult. You know, even if we want to beg and cry and act like a child sometimes because it feels cathartic and it might be instinct for some of us. We also have to, you know, use our thinking brain.
Which kind of gets shut off in that moment in time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Another big reason that you might want your ex back is you want the future that you plan together. How can you help but not think about, you know, the person you were going to marry, the person you talked about, you know, about having kids with, how many kids, you were naming the kids. You already had names for these kids, right? And so you have all these dreams that you had, and it's hard to let that go because, you know, you held on to that and those ideas felt so good that to let that go is very painful. So, you know, letting go of those dreams and plans, it takes time because you put a lot of energy into it. You put a lot of thought into it and fantasy into it. And it's not easy to just let something go that you put that much energy into. Oh,
yeah. You become attached to the potential. You know, you start thinking, okay, the potential of this relationship is what makes it. We're going to have a house one day. We're going to get a dog. We're going to be in a luxury apartment. We're going to be dinks together. Double income, no kids. So you become really attached to the potential, to what it could be. And to not see it realized, it feels like something has been broken in the circle. We want to see things come to completion. We want to see the happy ending to the story. So it can be really heartbreaking when that doesn't happen in our own lives. Another big reason is that you don't think that you can do better.
This is big. This is a big one.
This is a big one because this really has a lot to do with yourself, with your own self-esteem, with your own self-worth and your own self-perception. This is a hard one. You know, we do get a sense of security in our relationships and even on a social level. You know, you might see that you're treated differently if you're in a relationship. You might feel, okay, I'm not approaching the world alone anymore. I have a partner. I have, you know, somebody by my side who will support me, who I can talk to, who I can emotionally rely on. So to not have that there, you know, it feels like just this weight is on you. And that security on a social level, like I was saying, and that security on a social level, you know, we're also thinking about things like finances, like looks, like status, you know, what comes with being in a relationship. Maybe we are dating someone that we think, you know, very highly of, that we really respect, that we feel like elevates us socially. We think, man, I'm never going to find someone like that again. That was my last chance for love. That was my last chance at a good life. You know, we start to think of these things and it can really be a scarcity type of mindset, which can be really dangerous down the line because you're limiting yourself of what's out there. You know, guys, we live in a planet with, 8 billion people?
Something like that.
It's a lot of people.
A lot of people.
It's a lot of people. right? So, if you start to think in limiting ways, then that's how you are going to approach the world. And it's also showing of how you see yourself. Like I had said, that self-worth. You may also be attached to this person because of what others thought of them. Maybe your family really liked them, and it's really hard to find somebody that your family likes.
Yeah.
I talk about this sometimes too, how, when I was younger, my parents would scrutinize anybody who I even thought was cute.
Yeah.
So families and their opinions have a really big deal on some people.
That used to really bother you.
Oh, yeah. They used to.
I remember.
Yeah. But then my mom would always say, well, you have to date them, not me. So, and that's been just the phrase that I've been hanging on to.
The one glimmer of hope.
The one glimmer of hope. I'm like, yeah, you're right, Mom. I have to date them, not you.
Please like him.
Please. So these things can have a really big impact on how you see the breakup and why you continue to be attached to your ex. I also wanted to say too, if you have this type of mindset, I won't be able to do better, or it's going to be really hard for my family to like anyone else, or I'm not going to find someone more attractive, more financially stable, more intelligent, then we might end up settling for people who aren't good for us.
Yeah.
And we might end up settling for some traits that have been harmful to us just because we think, well, that's the best we can do.
Yeah. So you always got to get yourself centered to a good place where you're not allowing your fears to take over and be with somebody just because you're afraid of what might be in the future. Because if you do, you're not going to really be able to move forward in a way that is excited or looking forward to other things. There are a lot of different reasons that people want to get their ex back. And if we miss some, share them in the comments and we could talk about them again in the future video. But it's really important that you take a look at what's going on within you and what you're thinking and feeling, and just be aware of it, because you may be operating unconsciously where you don't realize these drives are making you do things and you don't even know what's going on within you. So you have to know what's going on within you. Know your true motives, right? Think about that and what your goals are. And that can help you start to think about your future and what you want to create for your future.
Yeah. Really doing this self-introspection can help you to figure out what it is that you want. So you're not just pining after someone because they look good and that's all they can offer you, or you're pining after someone just because you're in the state of panic, but instead you're making an intentional decision of, I think I can have a healthy relationship with this person.
Yeah.
Really thinking about your values and what can be lasting and sustainable for you. So that's our hope for you. And, we'd like to hear from you too. Comment some reasons down below as to why you want your ex back. I know many of you are going to say, because I love them. I love them.
What is it about them that you want back? Why do you want them back? Share. Let us see what your experience is so we can understand you guys better and what you're going through.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So hopefully this one's been helpful to you. Of course, if you want to get our help personally, you can get that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Coach Victoria is also available for Skype coaching.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name on the top of the website to do that. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.